89 Smart FM. Great music all the time.
Oh, you know you got me so cold, baby. So cold, yeah. You know you got me so cold, baby. Got me so cold. You know you got me so cold, baby. Over the sea. You know you got me so cold, baby.
The Beat on 89
Smart FM.
That's so called coming in from Maurice Curie, amazing artist there. He's been around for quite some time, and you definitely know who he is if you listen to a bit. 89 Smart FM is what you're listening to, and now it's 30 minutes to the top of the hour. You know what to do. Catch up with me at 89 Smart FM on Facebook and Twitter. Be JohnHillary on Twitter. And today we'll be speaking travel, and we have a special guest in the house. Her name is Judy Parayachee, and she's been traveling for quite some time around the African continent. Judy, thank you so much for joining us at the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Great. First of all, how long have you been in the country in Uganda?
I've been in Uganda now for about 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Correct.
Great. And you came from South Africa?
Correct. I've been traveling, obviously, a while, for about 2 years. And I've not explored my continent, which is Africa. And I've actually left South Africa in the beginning of November. I flew into Ethiopia. I spent about a month in Ethiopia. I touched base in Kenya. And then I traveled through Uganda, and it's been amazing.
Okay. And how long are you going to be traveling for?
I'm actually making my way back to South Africa via road. So I've done Ethiopia, Kenya a bit. I'm in Uganda for about 3 weeks. I go back to Kenya. I'm going to go to Tanzania, Zambia, Rwanda, Malawi, and basically all the way back en route to South Africa.
Okay, and you're a solo female traveler.
Correct. I'm a female solo traveler. And I remember when I bought my tickets and I told my friends and family that this is time for Africa. They thought I was crazy. And thus far my experience has been amazing. I just find everybody so accommodating, friendly, helpful. As a solo female traveler, safety is obviously of the utmost importance. I live in Johannesburg in South Africa, which is it's not the most safe city to grow up in, and there's a lot of things that I've actually done in Ethiopia, in Uganda, that I would never think of doing in my own country, because I feel so much safer in these African countries, which is, I find a tragedy, because I just feel safe here. And for me, being a solo traveler, safety is the most important thing, being safe.
That's true. So many people don't want to travel or are afraid to travel because they think it's pretty dangerous out there.
Yes.
You're trying to tell them it's not that much dangerous.
I feel that you have to have a gut feeling about maybe certain individuals or certain situations. Like, for instance, I will never walk late at night in my country. Now, why would I do this in Uganda? You make good choices to be safe, and you try to avoid situations where you feel conflicted, and generally people have been very good.
What's the biggest lesson you've learned traveling so far?
Oh my goodness, the biggest lesson, it just opens up your mind to different people, cultures, and me personally, it makes me feel so insignificant in the bigger scheme of things, because there's such a big world out there. But having said that, I believe that the world gets smaller because you meet people like, I've met you, and we've met a common friend that lives in Kenya, and we've stayed with a person that I only met you yesterday, but we know a common person.
Sure. And maybe as we conclude here, so many Africans want to go to the Maldives. They want to go to the UK, travel off the continent. Why are you traveling Africa, first of all? And why should anyone travel Africa before even going out there?
So, I believe as Africans, because I am an African, I definitely want to learn more about my continent and see different cultures. And understand life in Africa, and I'm on a big adventure. I'm trying to identify a lot of projects that hopefully when I get back to South Africa I could influence communities and people that I've met along my travels, because there is a big need in Africa with various things. I've stayed in orphanages, I've stayed with local people, and there is a need, and hopefully when I get back home, I feel I will try to endeavor to work on some projects to empower people and make a difference in these lives of people that have touched me in my travels.
Thank you so much, Judy Parayachee, for speaking to us. It's been great to have you.
Thank you so much for having me.
At 89 Smart FM. And that's Judy Parayachee, female solo traveler from South Africa, and she's making her way around the African continent for the next how many months? 6 months. Awesome. Thanks. And for you out there, man, I don't know why you're not traveling, dude. Take a trip today or over the weekend. Just go and see Shosh. Go and see someone in the village. And yes, that's maybe your first baby step into traveling. All right, I'll be back in just a bit. And this is Sean Kingston. He says One Way.
Yeah.
89 Smart FM. Great music all the time.
Yeah, me love the way your body shapes. Yeah, you take me to another place. Can't wait for no other day. We are gonna make the link one away, one away.